Hello, listeners. Welcome to Thrice, a horror movie podcast brought to you by Sinister Siblings, where we review a horror movie not once, not twice, but thrice. To see what comes from repeat viewings and share our thoughts with you, our dear listeners, this episode, we're purging life into the new body. For Bring Her Back, episode 3.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Very jolly opening for a rather grim movie.
It is grim.
And it gets down from here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And who are you?
Yeah, who are you?
Oh, hi, my name's Adam, if you didn't know. Joining me as always, my fellow hosts and partners in podcasting, Tracy
Hello there.
and Mark.
Grapefruit.
Grapefruit. Grapefruit. That's no lie.
Yeah. No cap.
No,
No, that's what the kids say.
No cap on that grapefruit.
honestly, if we're saying it, it's done. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure the
no,
kids aren't
no.
saying it.
We may not have been the first, but we'll be the last.
Yes.
Yes, so I imagine if you are listening to episode 3, you probably have some sort of idea about how the podcast works. But just to keep you in the loop, the first episode we do for the movie is based around the initial impressions that we have just personally from our viewings and what we might have got from the initial trailer. Second time round, that viewing's informed not just by our own views, but by each other's from that first episode. So in essence, an internal view, I guess you would say. And then for the third episode, we do it through with an external lens as well. So whether that's interviews with people involved with the film, whether that's reviews that we've read, or feedback from you guys in listening land. Obviously it's episode 3, but still important to say, beware, there are spoilers.
Yes.
So if for whatever reason you haven't seen the film yet, go ahead and watch it now. We'll wait.
Indeed we will. And just to give everybody a little bit of a synopsis about what Bring Her Back is all about, it's a 2025 Australian horror film directed by Danny and Michael Philippou. The film stars Billy Barrett, Sora Wong, Jonah Wren Phillips, and Sally Hawkins. The plot follows two step-siblings who find themselves orphaned and placed in the middle of an occult ritual by their new foster mother. So, guys, number 3. What did we think going into watching the movie? Excited for it? Or, like me, were you apprehensive? I was apprehensive because I remembered it from the previous 2. And it's such a brutal and harrowing watch that from the get-go I was just thinking, poor Andy, poor Ollie, poor Junkman the cat, poor chickens, poor Knife.
What happens to the chickens? Oh, they cop it.
Yeah, they cop it. Everyone cops it. Everybody cops it. And I was just thinking, oh no, poor everybody involved.
Well, I was happy to know that my time was going to be respected watching it a third time, It's a worthwhile movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not a worthwhile movie. I was just saying...
Yeah, look, I pick up what you're saying. Look, I wasn't looking forward to it in that regard because, yet again, whilst there are shades of happiness to be found, and look, light and dark play, I think we've already talked about this, that light and dark do play a theme in regards to, Andy trying to, protect Piper from the dark elements and bring her into the light elements. And it is a dark film, but there are those light moments. But yeah, that it's going to be very heavy. So when I sort of sat down to view it, I was like, okay, well, we'll see where this goes and we'll see how we feel about it. It was interesting, I found, only in some ways because perhaps we often use the analogy of peeling back the onion or whatever when we talk about our multiple viewings, and I don't know whether I found a lot more this time. I don't know whether we've sort of unpacked a fair bit of it. So I didn't find myself going, oh, maybe this means, or oh, maybe that. I think we'd gone through a lot of the, like I said, the light and dark symbolism, the circles, the supernatural elements.
The water.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of that in there, which is interesting. I mean, sorry, go.
We did come across one thing, though, which we ended up sort of disproving it, but it's worth for conversation, interest anyway. Trace was saying that, how she snips
Oh.
She snips Dad's hair.
Yeah.
Dead Dad's hair at the funeral. Feeds it to Oliver. So then Oliver can Andy sees has a vision of his dad in the shower and slips over. Trace was like, "No, that's Oliver. He's turned into Dad, literally shape-shifted into Dad." And I was like, "Whoa, well, no."
I don't think I said
think
literally
so.
shape-shifted into
But
Dad.
that's what you were saying.
Oh, you can't step it back now. Why would Adam make this up?
No, I don't. If I had said it, I would not be stepping it back. No, I said he becomes the dad. It's much like when he eats the cat's tail. He starts meowing like the cat.
Yeah, but he doesn't
when he bites
take on the form
the
of
mum,
the cat.
he starts. Well, I don't know. It was a frosty pane of glass, Adam. We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Well,
Anyway,
it was interesting because there's that point late in the film where we assume it's Ollie makes the voice of Andy
Mm.
Yeah.
to help Piper understand.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, it's interesting because I suppose I've had a total blank. Is Laura?
Laura.
Yeah. Whilst we have her immediate motivations around bringing back her daughter, the broader witchcrafty elements to how she sort of goes, it's not really touched upon that
No.
deeply, is it? Because we're assuming she hasn't just gone on a forum and bought that video.
Mm.
She's obviously a bit more entwined in that world,
Maybe.
I don't know. Actually, I don't think so.
Because she doesn't really know what to do. Like
Yeah, she doesn't know what to
when
do.
he eats the knife, when Ollie eats the knife, and basically, and Andy's kind of dragged him out of that salt circle, and he starts to kind of become lucid and be like, "What the?" And she takes him, and she doesn't know how to put him back under the spell. She doesn't know how to put the angel back in the bottle, so to speak. So she's looking at the video, like going, "Step me through it. How do I do this again?"
She's not in control of the situation. She's messing with something that she doesn't understand.
Yeah, so I tend to think maybe through her work she's maybe come across, I mean, I'm making stuff up now, but maybe she's come across people who are involved with the occult, or she sort of has a bit of a knowledge. She does live, in a rurally hilly area, or I don't know. Maybe there's people,
it's an interesting point when you stop to think about it, because it's never, if you've followed that through, then you think perhaps they might have planted a few little breadcrumbs in the film to suggest who was her introduction to that world then.
I would have been interested
Especially because it was a
know.
foreign language film and such, so...
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to just find that, on, I don't know,
I like
eBay. Or maybe you would.
I like the mystery of it. I think that's like.
Yeah.
I think I said in one of the other episodes that's kind of what I like about this movie, and also Bring Her Back was like that too.
You mean?
I mean, Talk to Me.
Yeah.
You could say, oh, it's too like loosey goosey or whatever, but I enjoy how vague it is. It points to the idea that there are forces and things out there in the world now, in this world that we live in contemporarily, that just beyond our understanding. Maybe these movies kind of point to that idea. And where did you find this hand with writing all over it?
Yeah.
How did you come across this VHS tape with this horrible ritual on it? You know what I mean? Like,
It's interesting too. I know I found myself as I get older, I am being a bit of a grumpy old man with some of those sort of things. Like, I mean, the answer to a lot of those questions is it's a movie.
well, the
And
question's
it's a
more
plot
interesting
device.
than the answer.
Yeah, but you do find well, where'd that hand come from, or where did that tape?
Do you want to know?
No, you don't really need to know, but it's funny
No.
in your head. I don't know whether that's who we've become as a society, that
Yeah.
we demand all of
Yeah,
this.
Google it.
Yeah.
But you go, you think of the crazy crap you used to watch when we were kids, and we're all Gen X kids, and we would watch wacky cartoons
Yeah.
that made no sense. And you didn't sit there and go, hang on a second, how does that dog know how to drive a car or whatever? You just went,
Yeah.
okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
But it's funny, we do seem to demand a lot more of our filmmakers these days to say, well, look, you need to explain this to me. You need to make this
Yeah.
make sense within your world, and
Yeah, I guess as long as it is making sense within their world building, and I don't think there's anything in this film that doesn't make sense in that capacity.
No,
I think
no,
it was
no.
more just my curiosity. Like I was talking to Adam about how she chose Ollie. Why did she choose Ollie? Like somewhere in the mix there, I got that maybe it was from reading his missing poster. He was taken from his house
yeah, in the middle of the night.
in the middle of the night.
Is that what it says on the poster?
Yeah,
I'm pretty
I think
sure
so.
it was something like that. Yeah,
And so you sort of think, wouldn't it be easier just to find somebody on the street? Like, she obviously went there with a purpose to take this child in particular. And it's more just a curiosity thing for me. It doesn't detract from the
Well,
film.
you wonder if that's through the DHS thing, perhaps.
Yeah, that's
maybe
what I think.
through her job that
well,
she
that's what
knew.
I'm thinking. But still, there's easier. You can pick. I don't know. Not that I go around kidnapping children, but there's I'm assuming there's easier ways than breaking into someone's house while everybody's there and taking someone. But anyway, it's more those curiosities for me. I was just sort of, and there aren't that many, but it was around, you know, be interesting to know how she came across this. More just because there could have been other people, you know, that we could have had, I don't know, more insight into.
Yeah. I guess it's also because it's not overly clear the timeline on exactly how long she's really had Ollie.
Well,
Was it weeks, months?
It wasn't that long. It was maybe like a fortnight max. Like he hadn't been with her that long. But also, yeah, just those curiosities. How did she subdue him? Like, how did they do that initial, or is that what's on the video? I don't even know. It's not what's on the video. That's a reference guide. I don't know. But,
one seed that that was planted on this third watch was so she's like, you know, what's the blind girl's name? Piper is like, oh, what does Ollie look like? And she's like, oh, he's got his red hair, curly. And later on, the DHS worker, she calls him Ollie. And the DHS worker's like, oh, that's a nephew, the redheaded kid. And then that kind of got me thinking, who is this redheaded kid, Ollie, the nephew? Like, did she try this out on him first or something? And why did she, or is it just for convenience sake that she's turned Connor into Ollie? Or
I think it was, because I think there was a bit early in the film where, in that early part where Andy's still trying to protect Piper from everything. He's like, oh, he's smiling at you. And then Laura sort of joins in by going, oh, yes, he's got curly red hair and such. Yeah. Thinking, oh, well, to take advantage of the blind girl because she can't see.
Well, I think it was more, that was the start of her trap with Andy, building that he's lying to. Because that's the turn with Piper, is because Piper believes Laura, because Laura's been seeding this idea that Andy is lying, Andy's losing it. So at the end, when Piper touches Ollie's hair and realises it's not thick and curly, and Laura says, oh, no, it's red curly hair, that's when the penny drops for Piper and she goes, she's lying to me. Uh-oh, I picked the wrong horse.
So, but do you think she just came up with naming him Ollie on the fly at the moment?
I think
I'm pretty sure there was a snippet in there where there was a family photo or something.
Yeah, there's a photo, like Ollie, the real Ollie. Definitely
so
had
Ollie's
red
fine.
hair.
Ollie's off somewhere else alive.
He could be, but
or maybe she. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
who's going to kidnap a redheaded kid?
Yeah.
No offense to our redheaded listeners,
Even
of course.
Nephew, yeah.
but that ties in neatly to my hatred of Laura. That really.
I thought you were going to say your hatred of redheads.
no, my hatred of the character of Laura. Like, I just,
Strong words.
Yeah, and it really came to the fore for me in this viewing, like just the unbelievable unnecessary cruelty that she displayed. It was unnecessary. Like, she went after Andy like nobody's business.
He was just completely like collateral, just disposable.
Yeah, no, but it was over the top.
Yeah.
She didn't need to traumatize an already traumatized kid.
Yeah.
And she just went so far with that. But it was also just this, and I get she's like single-minded in her grief and things, but it went obviously it went too far, but it went just far too far. Like, it just, even at the end, like when, sort of Piper has found out Ollie's screaming because he's trying to escape, she's still just like, oh, no, it's still just all about me. I'm just going to go get my daughter. I don't care about these two children. I've kind of realised, not even with Ollie, but, okay, I've let Piper go because I've remembered a little bit of my humanity, but not enough to actually help the two children that I've just seriously fucked up. Sorry, explicit language.
We tick that box on the podcast, Robert.
And, but it's still all about her, single-minded. And she did not, obviously she kills Andy. She has no care or concern for anybody else in this whole situation. And just the way she just traumatized him.
Well, I thought
she had to discredit him.
No, but not, she had already done that. She went over and above discrediting him.
Well, I thought it was because she'd had that 20 years experience working in that field. that she had seen so many kids with that. I guess she knew
Oh,
exactly
exactly.
what
What
to do
button
how
with
to
it.
make it look that way.
Yeah.
So even from that beginning where she goes, oh, yeah, he's got red hair and gives Andy the wink, she's like, basically, I've got you now.
We're into this together.
We're in this together. I've covered you in a lie. You owe me. Like, you're under my thumb now. Like, from the get-go. And it makes me furious. The whole thing, I just kept going, oh, that poor kid. Oh, my God.
Which
that
is a
poor-
credit to was it Sally Hawkins, the actress?
Yes.
It's a credit to
Yeah,
her that you
yeah.
hated her that much.
Oh,
then.
amazing. Yeah, she's really amazing. Like, I think she's
but
great.
Which
But,
is
oh,
a good villain. It's the it's the
gaslighting.
sheep's clothing that do it. You know,
just
this
the whole
kind of
bit.
hippy dippy.
So there's no point where you would consider her a victim along with everybody else then?
Not really,
not
no.
really.
Yeah, I think we talked about that last episode. We were sort of asking that. It's like, they go to great efforts to, and they do a great job at showing that this is all like motivated by grief. And yet, but still, ultimately, you kind of can't. I can't
No.
anyway sympathise with her. Like,
No,
you know,
because
and her actions.
the
like-
kids are motivated by grief as well. Not so much Piper, but Andy. So he's still trying to look after. He's grieving, and he's had a traumatic childhood himself, and he's still trying to protect his little sister. He's still trying to be a good person. He's still trying to do the right thing. That's his response to grief. He's not going around doing all kinds of shady shit to people. So for his own gain, for his own selfish desires. So, yeah, I think that is actually a really good sort of juxtaposition between his response and her response.
Yeah, different responses to grief.
And
Her motivations are plausible, but not
it's plausible. I mean, people do crazy stuff when they're traumatized and grieving, and
Who's ever read Pet Cemetery?
like people do, do extreme things, in that response, and I get that totally. But I think in this particular film, that character she personifies that really well, that extreme nature of somebody who's willing to do anything.
And I like that in a movie. I like to hate watch characters. I like a good villain. I just enjoy it. It drives some people crazy. I really like it. If there's like a character that just makes you go like, oh my God. Like, I think.
Well, I guess that's the thing, because normally, we would have, you watch it and you go, oh, she was, fantastic in her role, and I hate her for it. You don't normally then hate watch her another 2 times and go, oh my God, by this point, I want to see the end of her. But
Well, see, I must say I'm a little bit on the flip side to you guys. Like, there's no justification for what she did, but I did find myself feeling bad for her because you could just, and you knew it was coming. You could just see the unraveling of just, almost that runaway train snowball effect,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
She probably thought, oh, all I need to do is get this kid and that kid, and bada bing,
Yeah.
bada boom, and my daughter will be back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just got worse and worse and worse
Absolutely.
and worse. And obviously the physical changes in Ollie, I don't think she was expecting any of that to happen. And
I thought it was great how she ends up frightened of him. I thought,
Yeah.
yes, serve you right.
So that almost does happen for me where, she's confronted by the other woman from the DHS and she's like, we can bring her back. She's full-blown DEFCON
Yeah,
6
yeah.
meltdown. Like, is
Yeah.
that where it happens for you? Like,
yeah, I think it's that point when you realise it's all fallen apart.
It's
She's
all
got no control
like-
over anything anymore. But
yeah.
and you do feel a little bit, you're just like, she's pulled all these people, innocent people, into her world.
Yeah.
And it's just that all-encompassing grief. It's just, it's... I did find myself feeling a bit bad, which is probably yet again a credit to the actress that
Yeah.
she...
Well, she had depth. Yeah.
It wasn't just a Disney cartoon villain.
Yes, no.
She was still someone that was
Yeah.
despicable in her behaviours, but at the
Yes.
core of it, you still went, I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, no, I
Like, that
didn't.
you've been driven to this. Like, your whole life is ruined now.
Yeah.
This grief has destroyed you.
Yeah, consumed her.
Mm.
Cool, consumed her. Hey. just
there
like
you
the-
go.
yeah, there you go. So I guess looking back over our watches, what would be your best moment from the film? What's the thing that really stands out for you the most, Adam?
Well, I guess you're always going to remember the kitchen knife scene,
Yeah.
just in terms of like,
The sound
practical effects and sound and all of that. That's going to be like a sticking point in memory. But if I could extrapolate on that more, if you could have more than one, I think it's just kind of Ollie in general. That kid,
Yeah,
what he
did a
turns
great
into, his whole thing, what he is, this kind of empty husk
Yeah.
that just gets more and more
Beer-bellied.
hungry and wild and feral.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, it's scary
Yeah.
to me that the kid is scary. I wouldn't want that kid in my house,
Oh,
like
God.
locked in a room. You know,
Absolutely not. What about you, Mark? What was your favourite scene or moment? What really was a great piece of filmmaking?
I hate to double up, but it's the same as Adam, because I think if you were if you'd forgot the name of this film and you're trying to describe it to someone, you're probably going to say, "Have you seen that film? You know, the one with the possessed kid who bites a kitchen knife."
Yeah.
That's the scene people are going to remember.
Yeah.
You know, it's in similar, like in A Violent Nature, everybody knows
The pretzel.
the yoga kill. Like so I think this would be the film where it's the film where the kid bites the knife.
Mm.
But it's a really good film. I actually prefer it to Talk to Me. I know they sort of wrote the two together, but I think I prefer this one to Talk to Me. I think
Yeah.
it's just got. I think there's more emotional weight to it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think I think we talked about this earlier. The brothers described the other one as a bit more of a party type of film, whereas this is a bit more of a character kind of study.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And this one's probably got. I mean, they both got shades of body horror to it, but this one's probably a little bit more overt.
Yeah, they both have grief and body horror in them and similar kind of visual things like the water and stuff and the mirrors like we were looking at earlier. It's got similar kind of visual things, but I think this one, Bring It Back is a much more honed movie than Talk to Me.
What about you, Trace? What's the standout sequence or scene?
Well, again, I guess the standout scene obviously is the knife, like we've just been talking about. But I really just enjoyed the settings. Like I think having films that are so overtly Australian, for people who are Australian, you can relate. Like it's just from the houses to the sort of the gardens to the pools. It just reminded me of
I wonder where it is.
growing up. That was in South Australia, I think, in Bring Her
Is it?
Back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so familiar, and that I think adds to the scariness and to almost that realism, because these films are very realistic. Despite talking about supernatural events and all of that, they're really grounded very heavily in realism, and you relate to that. And I think that makes them even more powerful because you've been in houses like that, you've met people like that. So it's kind of, I think that just adds to the weight. So, yeah, that's kind of what I really like is their visual style and just the fact they're so Australian. I love that. So, ratings, guys, overall.
Hang on, just before we get to that, we'll do our, because it's the last episode, we'll do our box office stats.
Oh, yes.
So we'll just cover through a little bit there. So, film was quite successful here and globally. So we have here, so in Australia, it was in the cinemas for... We had it was in the cinemas here in Australia for 17 weeks.
Wow, yeah.
Which is actually a very big run compared to some of the films we get. And
Sorry, go.
and off the back of that, it made about 1.65 million here in Australia.
Gosh.
And worldwide, just a shade under 40 million. So I don't have the details here in front of me for the budget, but I would imagine it wouldn't have been a huge budget. So you'd think that was a pretty big win for the boys. So that's really good.
It probably got a longer run here being Australian.
And I guess the reception that Talk to Me had as well, that really provided a bit of a boost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look, it pulled in solid numbers for probably the first month, and then, it sort of dripped down a little bit, and sort of in the last probably half a dozen weeks or so, it's probably only showing in a couple of cinemas, but it's a bit of staying power. I mean, if you're saying 17 weeks, that's loosely going to give you, 4 months?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a decent theatrical run. It's only just recently come out here in Australia on Blu-ray.
Yeah, and streaming.
So I actually did watch the Blu-ray the other day to watch this, and it was quite interesting. So I listened to the brothers' audio commentary for that. Safe to say, if you know anything about the Philippines, they do enjoy having a bit of fun and talk over the top of each other, and they have a lot of laughs. Not the most informative of tracks, if I have to be honest, but entertaining in its own way, I guess, because you just got to have a listen to them reminiscing about their good times. An interesting little bit they did right at the very end with the credits. They gave you a special code, and they asked you to shoot it to them on Instagram just to let them know if you'd actually listened to the whole director's commentary. So I did take the opportunity. So Philippines, if you're listening, hit me back. But yes, I did send that little code through to them, which I thought was a quirky little thing that they did.
They might
there.
send us something cool, like a picture or something.
Yeah, don't know.
Yeah.
So they asked to do that, so I've done that. So that's cool. So that's the box office numbers there, which is quite good. I don't know what do you think we're going to see next from the Philippines, guys?
Have they said? Is it like a thematic trilogy? Question mark? Like another grief movie?
I don't know. I'm just thinking. Do you think that? I mean, they wrote "Talk to Me" and "Bring It Back" at the same time, and that was in response to a lot of tragedies they had experienced personally. So you wonder, where do they move from here? Do you think that they'll stay in that field? Do you think? Or do you think they'll take a real sharp left turn? What do you reckon?
I reckon they'll probably take a bit of a left turn and do something a little bit different. I don't know. I don't know where I'm basing that on. But I just feel like they'll use this opportunity to try something new. What that looks like, I don't know.
There was supposed to be a sequel to Talk to Me, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think Talk to Me too.
I don't really I'm worried about where that would go. I don't want to know more.
Talk to Me too. The other hand.
I don't want to. On the other hand, I don't want to know more about the hand. Like, I'm worried that it'll be that. Like, just pretty much what
Talk to Me too. Closed fist.
Pretty much what we were talking about before. Like, the question's more interesting than the answer. Like, I don't want there to be a sequel where they take all the mystery out of that hand. And I'm worried it would be that. But I wouldn't. I think that those two would. I'd like to think that it would be better than that. I think they're good writers, these two.
They are good writers. Yeah, they are definitely. They do a good thing. Have you seen anything about Talk to Me too?
Now you guys have mentioned it, I can recall there being some conversation around it. I think because it was just a big hit. I do believe also they may have been conversation. I think there was a wrestling thing.
Yeah, they're really into wrestling. Like that.
I think they had a wrestling doco or something they were working on.
Yeah, that's right. They're into the sort of I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically like very
the Mexican
gritty, like hardcore wrestling. And there's like blood and glass and
sweet Jesus!
I'm not sure if it's real blood and stuff. Don't know, but it's like
knife fighting,
intense sort of wrestling. Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see where they go. I think they do want to stay based in Australia and. I think they do want to stay sort of based out of SA, so that'll be a boon for Australia if we can get that quality of filmmaking on a regular basis.
Absolutely. All right, coming back to our ratings questions. Where are we sitting? Adam, you love this film.
Yeah.
You still love it.
Yeah, I do. We were running at grapefruits, weren't we?
I think so, yeah.
Yep. And you had stacked a lot of grapefruits out for this one.
Yeah.
Nine grapefruits.
Nine grapefruits.
9 grapefruits. I'm still going to give it 9 grapefruits. I think this is a really good one. I don't know. It just sort of it clicks with me. I love that they spend time investing in the characters. Like you said, it's very grounded. It's very natural dialogue. A very plausible, and relatable, or at least understandable situation. These kids that end up in foster. This other woman who's lost her child. Everyone understands what those feelings are about, and it spends a lot of time setting up that scenario. I love the mystery around this VHS, this crazy ritual, this horrible situation that this little Ollie kid's in.
Yeah, poor kid.
I think that Sally Hawkins is a really great performance, and Laura is a great on-screen villain. 9 grapefruits. And just quickly, are we going to get to recommends or no?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Just the only recommend I have really, the only real recommend I have is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for Nurse Ratched. I've always found her to be a great slippery on-screen villain. So that's all. That's the only reason why. Yeah. I don't actually have a lot of... I feel like I know that they probably are out there, but I haven't seen a lot of movies like this one, so it feels quite original to me, even though I know there's probably a lot of movies out there like that.
All right, so 9 grapefruit from Adam. What about you, Mark?
I find sometimes it's tough to rate these kind of films because it's not a fun film. So a lot of the time people might say to you, "Oh, what can you give me that's a good recommend?" You know, because people are looking to enjoy a movie, and you go, "This is a bit different." It's a strong recommend with an asterisk, I guess. You'd want to say to people, "Hey, this is a really good film, but be aware."
It's probably more cerebral than a fun time in a cornfield or something.
Yeah, so be aware that it's not necessarily a popcorn film as much as it's more of a make you think, and it designs to put you on edge and make you feel a bit nervy about things and what would you do philosophical conversation. So look, for me, I think I would sit probably with a 7. I think 7 grapefruits for me. I think it is a strong recommend. It's one of the better horror films I've seen this year here in 2025.
Oh, easy.
I'm very interested to see what the Philippou brothers come up with next. So, in regards to recommendations, there is a lot of grief horror running around at the moment. We've covered some on the podcast already with things like Baghead. Probably the one that sort of comes to mind, I guess, is probably leaning towards yet again with Laura's aspects. Might be a little bit with Misery.
Yeah.
Just that similar idea where Kathy Bates's character kind of has a strategy and kind of has an idea of, I'll rescue this dude and I'll nurse him back to health, and won't that be great? And yes, her plan also starts to unravel and things get more and more dire.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I know there's a term they call films psycho biddy films, which are often with more mature actresses that, you know, which was sort of labelled specifically around, I think, the Bette Davis and I'm having a blank. June Crawford. June Crawford. Yeah, those sort of films, and a lot of those ones in the 70s, I guess, that were about older women who were murdering and things. You know, I don't know if Sally Hawkins is quite in that bracket, but yes, if you're looking for sort of an unhinged older woman type of role, I think something like Misery would be an interesting recommend from me.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I think for me, I gave it 8 out of 10 last time, and I stay with that. It's a really good, solid film. It's a good film, no doubt about it. She's a great villain, as we've talked about. It's a great story. It makes you think. So yeah, I would definitely, like we're saying, recommend if somebody was after something a little more meaty to watch, and also that they were a horror aficionado. I think you wouldn't want to be recommending to somebody who's a bit sort of afraid of blood and guts.
It's not a sleepover movie, is it?
They're going to get a bit of a shock. I think in terms of recommends, Adam and I were talking about this film the other day, and it really rings true, is the movie 1973 film Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland. I think it's directed by Nicholas Roeg, and that's terrific. They lose their daughter in a drowning accident, and then they start communicating with some psychics and thinking they're seeing her around and they want her back. So yeah, it's a fantastic film. So I would recommend that if you like this one, for sure.
Very cool.
So on that note, talking about liking things, if you have liked this podcast, please make sure that you are subscribed and that you give us a rating and a review on your podcast catcher. That would really help other people find us. And if you haven't already, head over to Facebook or Instagram and give us a follow at Sinister Siblings. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, and give us your comments on the film, of course, as well. Let us know what you thought.
Absolutely.
How many grapefruits would you give this one?
Yes, indeed. Yes. And on that note,
take you bye.
see you later.
Bye.